Talk of the town. Take number 8. I want to say take 8.
Kobe, Kobe,
Kobe, rest in peace,
Kobe.
Kobe.
Yes, sir.
we got we got our perk back today. Rank,
So,
you
Yes,
so
know,
sir.
rank here, rank early in the morning. But really, let's just jump straight into it. We just had the first of the super wild card weekend. Really three great games on Saturday and Sunday. But really, just to start our convo here, let's
The
start
playoffs actually looked
the
interesting.
playoffs. Yeah, they
It
did.
actually looked
they
interesting.
did.
So
Wow.
let's just start with the Rams and what they did to Seattle on what Saturday, Sunday. I don't know, bro. These days
I think it was
they just be
Sunday.
going Sunday,
Hmm
but yeah.
Sunday, yeah.
But Zeke, I know you were very vocal in the chat about what the Rams did. So let's start off with you. Let's get some of your takeaways from that.
I think what the Rams showed is that defense can still prevail in the NFL. I think what they did when getting extending the premier player in the NFL, which was Aaron Donald. You know what I mean? And then surrounding him with good pieces such as Leonard Floyd and Michael Brockers, and then when you have a secondary the way that they have, I think that allows you to keep the game at such a minimal. That Seahawks team, 3 weeks ago, put up 31 points on them, and then this week they did not look the same at all. So, um, I think that defense is going to take them a long way. Honestly, I think when you can tell Jalen Ramsey to shut down half the field and allow your pass rushers to do what they do. And then I just think it allows them to play really good football. Um, I feel as if we're about to come to an end with this Jared Goff thing. I think sooner than later.
Beat me too.
I think Sean McAvey is seeing that he doesn't want to waste his defense. So I would not be surprised if we see the Rams somehow move on from Jared Goff. But other than that, I think the Rams have the recipe right now to I think beat anybody, and that's just to slow the game down and play good defense. And they have a strong running game as well. So
Rank, I'll pass this to you. Just speak second.
Like you said, that defense wins championships, and that defense is definitely a defense that could win a championship. But like you
hmm
said, Jared Goff, he looked like Jared Goff, and I mean that's going to be the downfall of that team. I think this week when they play Green Bay, uh, it's going to come down to Devontae Adams and Jalen Ramsey. It is, and then with Aaron Rodgers playing quarterback, is going to be the difference because right now he is playing quarterback on a level that only him and Patrick Mahomes could play at right now, and it's going to be tough for that defense to do the same thing that they just did last week in Seattle, especially up there in Green Bay. It's going to be cold. They was already talking about it might snow. It's going to be tough, but and then Aaron Donald got hurt on last week. We don't know how that might affect him, but I
fucked
did
up,
like
bro.
how they looked last week though. But like y'all said, the run game, they're gonna have to keep the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands if they want to win that game. That's the only thing they're gonna be able to do, honestly.
Um, so yeah, I gotta agree with y'all. I think Rams' success is going to be based purely off their defense. But even if they do win this week and then going into next week and even going into the Super Bowl, they're going to be playing high-powered offenses only. So
Mm,
I feel like the defense is only going to be able to do so much. I feel like Jared Goff is going to have to do something for them to keep winning, and I don't think it's going to happen. I think that's going to be their downfall. And like Zeke said, I feel like Sean McVay is starting to realize that he's going to think to get rid of Jared Goff, but like I'm saying, like I can't see the Rams really going as far as people want them to with the play of Jared Goff. I don't think a mediocre QB play can get it done anymore just because of how good the league is starting to get.
hmm
Um, I definitely believe defenses win championships, but you need your offense to give you something. And while the Rams did put up 30 points last week, the defense is going ahead are going to get better, and the offense is going ahead are going to get better. So I definitely think that they need to clean up Jared Goff's play. They need to find a way where he can be a little bit more useful and helpful to their offense because right now he's not really doing much. So I think that's the Rams' biggest concern going into next week. It's going to be tough for them to stop Aaron Rodgers too.
So I
It's gonna
think
be very tough.
where we give I think what we need to give Sean McAvey some props is that he's going to scheme up some points.
Definitely.
That he's just shown that happened. So I think with Sean McAvey, you can account for 21 points. Like, I'm not even being dramatic about that. The Rams are going to get 21 points somehow, right? So I think this number that they need to beat the Green Bay Packers 27 to like 21 or 27 to 24. They can't allow this game to get into the 30s because then that means Aaron Rodgers is settled in. He's doing whatever he wants, and that's going to be problematic. But I think that's how they could beat the Rams, though. I think the run game, the schemes that they control, that they have within the offensive system, the coaching staff, like Sean McAvey's not a noodle into the playoff thing. You know what I mean? Like, I think he has the advantage over the Green Bay head coach because of experience, but the Green Bay coach has more of the talent. So I think it's really going to be one of those, how well does Sean McVay, coach the game, right, and be able to control the game more so than just letting Aaron Rodgers keep having the ball. Like, those 3rd and 1s, 3rd and 2s, they have to convert on them. Those 4th and 1s or 4th and inches, they have to go for it. You can't be trying to play ball control. But you can play ball control, but you got to also try to score points as well. So, honestly, I think they do pull it off, though. I think the Rams get it done. I don't know, man. I just feel like they get it done this week.
That's hard for me to like kind of co-sign on simply because for how well Jalen Ramsey has played this season, I just don't see him doing what he did to the other top wideouts to Tay this week. Tay, isn't going to go for his typical, 13 for like 150 and 3 touchdowns. No, but
it'd be a 7 for like 80 something.
Yeah, but those catches and those yards and that touchdown that he's going to put up this week is going to come at a crucial time. Maybe it won't be the game winner per se, but maybe it happens in the middle of the 3rd quarter to put the Packers up 3 and now that's putting pressure on Goff, now Goff is going to have to go out and he's going to have to put points on that next drive, and then I think that's where the Rams start to lose that game, is when they put it in Goff's hands and force him, to basically have them keep pace with Green Bay.
Here's why I think that Jalen Ramsey will have success, though. Like, Devontae Adams and DeAndre Hopkins, I'm not saying they're carbon copies, but they're very similar, right? So
I don't think that they're similar wideouts. I don't. Tay, I think he's much more savvy in his route running.
He's definitely more finesse.
Yeah, to where Hop he'll get to the point where he'll just like bully you per se, and Ramsey isn't going like that, but when you face like savvy route runners, guys who like just know how to get open, sometimes, there like just isn't anything a corner can do to keep up with that.
Especially with a quarterback like A-Rod on the ball.
Exactly.
Yeah, because they're going to try Jalen Ramsey. Like, most quarterbacks try to stay away from that. Like, Devontae Adams leads the league in, like, attempts thrown at him. So Aaron Rodgers is going to try you regardless of who's guarding him. Yeah, absolutely. And he should, because he's Aaron Rodgers. So, to me, you like games like this, man. It's big on big. It's stars on stars. You got your offensive stars with Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers, and you got your 2 defensive stars, the best at their positions, Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald. So, like, it's big on big right now, and it's just gonna be a scheme game when it's Rams offense versus Green Bay defense. So that's going to be really exciting, and I think that's something that I think that's the game of the week in all seriousness, and I think we should be watching that one.
I would disagree. I would definitely disagree.
I'm not watching them. I'm gonna watch the 2 old heads, but that's not exciting.
No.
Talking Bills,
Ravens and Bills is going to 100% be the game of the week.
I like that.
It's going to 100%.
That's going to be so low scoring, bro. It's going to be snowing in a Buffalo blizzard.
I don't think it's going to be a low scoring game.
I can see it being like a 27-21.
If it
27,
snows the
24.
way they're saying it's going to snow, that's going to be a low scoring game.
Yeah, it's gonna be like 17,
But, I
14.
mean,
No cap.
And we're gonna see a struggling Lamar too. Like
No, we not.
last time.
Nope.
Nah,
Yeah, we're
nah,
gonna
bro.
see.
Nope.
We're gonna see a struggling Lamar. Watch.
So you guys are saying the snow is going to make the game more obviously more rugged, more slowed down, but a snow would force the Ravens. They don't have to pass the ball; they could just keep running it because it's just snow.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Bills, they're from Buffalo, like they can probably play. And I'm not saying they're going to just go out there and dominate like they usually do, but Josh Allen could probably throw the ball in the snow.
I already thought this was gonna be a low scoring game anyway because of the two
I
defenses.
didn't. If it wasn't snow, I thought it was high scoring as hell.
Yeah, well, the running. I thought the game was gonna be low scoring.
Wait,
Here's why
KJ.
you draft Josh Allen though, man. Like, think you in his arm neutralizes all weather, rain, snow, cold, like because of his big arm. But if it's gonna be snowing like the way they say it's gonna be snowing, then it's gonna be a very run heavy type game, and the Bills don't have a run game.
That's what I'm saying. So me personally, even if it does snow, I don't think the Bills are going to just turn to their run game because that's not who they are.
I agree. They can't. Right.
They can't. They still gonna have to throw the ball, but.
Wait, KJ.
I like the Ravens defense. I'll be honest with you. They can
I
sit there and bracket Stephon Diggs and tell Marcus Peters to go in the slot and handle Cole Beasley. Like they have the defensive players to do it.
I think Stephon Diggs will get a couple off on Marlowe. I mean, a couple.
Yeah, Marlowe's sweet.
Those are two of the worst good cornerbacks in the league. Like, they are good corners, turnovers. They are terrible. Like that's what it is. They force turnovers after the play. Like, but they
punch everything and the other intercepts everything, but they get toasted in one-on-one coverage.
Oh, I mean, it's
boy, what? I mean, he had them looking like a little child on them first two drives last week.
He sure did. I would have kept throwing to AJ Brown. But in all seriousness, I really do believe that. Like, go ahead, TS. My fault.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to chime in and say on that final pick, Brown toasted what's his face straight off the line, like gone, touchdown.
It wouldn't matter who it was though. Jimmy Smith, Marlon Humphrey, he was gone. He had 5 yards on him. Just throw him the ball. Like it's that simple. Just throw him the ball. Yeah. But I think with this game, I think we don't see Lamar struggle. I think we actually see him thrive. And I say that because of the snow. So when the Ravens can sit there and give you Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, Lamar Jackson, and those 3 tight end sets and that power running game, like that caters to the snow game. You know what I mean? Like they know where they're going, but the defense doesn't. So I think you actually see Lamar gets over the hump this year until he goes into the AFC Championship game. But I think you see a lot of his struggles go away. I don't think you have to make Lamar Jackson pass, and I'm guilty of that myself. I always said, oh, he's going to have to throw the ball. He's going to have to throw the ball. But if this is their recipe to win, then I think they need to follow suit with it. The 49ers did the same thing when they had Colin Kaepernick. They didn't make him throw when he had, or make him throw all kind of crazy numbers and crazy attempts. Like, they played to his strengths, and I think the Ravens are at their best when they play to Lamar's strength. And I think they get it done this week. And then I think we get to see the top 2 young quarterbacks in the NFL play each other next week.
That's funny you mentioned Cap because I definitely think that Greg Roman was the Niners OC, and now he's the Ravens one, and now like they're like doing like very similar things. But really like these like past like 5-6 weeks, like it's really hard to discredit anything that Lamar Jackson has done. I mean like he's playing like his former self. And now now is like really like the scariest time, to like face that because obviously it's playoff time, but something that the Ravens do year in, year out is they click at the right time. They did it with Flacco in that Super Bowl run. And then I mean last year I really think that they just ran into a buzzsaw in Henry, but I honestly think that had they faced any other team than Tennessee last year, that they could have possibly made a run last year. So Ravens now
in the offseason too though. Like that Calais Campbell and Derek Wolf. That was
Yannick.
Huge.
And
It
Unique
was
and Gong,
huge.
yeah, like it was huge. So I think they have the recipe. And like I know I just said that Lamar, I think he's gonna have to make one throw a game. That's it. He got to make one clutch throw a game. And if he
They need,
makes it, I think that this team will do it.
He been making it every week too.
they need to
Hmm.
give him a receiver to at least see if, because obviously we all say Lamar's not the best thrower of the ball, but at the end of the day, who is he really throwing to? I mean, Hollywood's good, but he's not a true number one. You need to get a true number one, put someone like Hollywood in the slot, and Lamar might be a better thrower than we actually think. But
That's true.
the Ravens got to help him out at least a little bit.
He's throwing good passes now. It's just that guys just aren't catching them.
That's true too.
Like what's his face? Hollywood is good for at least 2 to 3 drops like
Yeah.
per week, and then like drops where like he's literally like putting it in the bread basket.
Hmm.
So like that. So that criticism, is two fold, but he's taken strides as a passer, which is something that I
He is.
love to see.
He is. And just to flip it, I think we also got to acknowledge though how this game could go either way though.
Yeah,
Josh Allen playing
yeah,
out of control.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And we just talked about how his arm neutralizes all the weather. And if they do decide that they have to throw 30 times, like it's a real possibility that they can really throw 30 times and still get the job done as well. Like this is really going to be what quarterback makes the most plays. And that's going to be with arms, with legs, like so
Josh
it's
Allen run too.
yeah, Josh Allen he could run. He's just not as
Hmm.
athletic, but yeah, he could run. So I think it's just going to come down to what quarterback makes the most plays. And I'm really playing it's Lamar. Like I do, I want to see him in the AFC Championship game. I really do. But if Buffalo was to win, I would not be surprised either. Like I can't be surprised by either way that this game goes.
Who do you have taking it, Karan?
Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. This is the one game of the week that I can't really put a definitive answer on it. I'm really not sure. Like I have a definitive, like who I think is gonna win in all 3 other games. Is this game where I'm just like I can't. Like I probably won't bet on it. I won't. I'm gonna just sit there and watch it. It's
Yeah, I'm
just
gonna leave this one alone too.
Yeah, I'm not touching this game.
at
To the
all.
bettors out there, don't touch this game.
Let this one go.
You got some Ravens fans, they might tell you bet the house on the Ravens, but
Nah,
Don't do it.
man,
That rocks.
it's
That
it's
rocks.
it's a lot of what's that called? It's a lot of things going on within the game, inside the game. Like when you deal with weather and all that other stuff, like that takes away a lot of the things that you game plan for. But I want to see a Ravens Chiefs next week. Like I need to see that.
I think all America wants to see that.
Definitely must be
I,
TV.
so now that y'all said that, watch next week be Bills Browns and like the worst conference championship
Bro.
game.
Well, don't nobody want to see that. You know?
Don't nobody want to see that.
I
Not at
respect
all.
the Browns, right? I do. I think the Browns they did what we all said they would do, right? But they're not ready for that, man. Like if I
I
don't
didn't
think they
even
could beat
know.
the Chiefs, I don't think they could beat the Ravens. I don't think they could beat the Bills. Like it'll be a waste of like TV screen. Like, and I don't think they'll get blown out. But they are such an ugly team to watch. Like that's just yeah. For football's sake, I don't want to see them. Like
I'm
they're a
gonna be
good team. They're
honest.
just an ugly team to watch.
If it end up being Bills Browns, they might as well just give whoever won the NFC Championship the Lombardi Trophy after the game.
You think
Because
so?
whoever they play going, I mean,
I definitely got it over.
yes, no matter what NFC team make it, if they play the Browns or the Bills in the Super Bowl,
Because me personally, like I said, I don't think the Rams are going to go to the Super Bowl. So I think it's either going to be Breeze, Brady, or Rodgers. And I don't got any of them losing to the Browns or the Bills. I'm
let's
sorry.
be real.
I
Back
think
to
that
TS
y'all are
though.
sleeping on the
If
Bills. Like,
see, I was gonna
like,
say the Browns. I feel as if the
yeah, I
Browns
don't.
can get past the Chiefs, bro, that's a different type of momentum. Like we all done played
Yeah,
sport. Like when you feel as if
yeah.
you done beat Big Ben, you finally got over that hump, right? You
Okay.
done beat Pat Mahomes, you finally got over that hump. You don't fear the Ravens, and you definitely don't fear the Bills because you have a run game that can stick with them too. So imagine if Bake runs the gauntlet of beating Big Ben, beating Pat Mahomes, beating Lamar or Josh Allen. You think he gonna care about facing Brady, Rodgers, or Breeze? Like he feels as if his team is gonna be equipped to do what they need to do.
I
So
just feel
like
like it's a jump to take, like, these are teams who last year wasn't even in our Super Bowl radars, and then now saying like they have a chance to win it. Like I can't. From our young needs another year to actually a contender, like a
I don't think they need
for
another
sure
year
shooting
though.
contender.
They have the recipe to do it now. It's just I don't think they'll beat the Chiefs, but they have the recipe to do it
Yeah,
now.
I don't. They don't even.
I can't
They
even
don't-
sit here and say like it don't even sound right saying Baker Mayfield could win you a Super Bowl right now. Like that just
But TS has said it though. Like he's not gonna be the one to win you the Super Bowl. It's gonna be Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, and Jarvis Landry.
word. But I
Like
mean,
it's not gonna be him.
at the end of the day, he's still the quarterback, and he's still gonna have to make some plays, make some throws to get them where they want to be.
He's been making them. He's been making them.
Like you said, hey, he got to make a couple good throws a week. He make them. He make them.
He lit Pittsburgh up, bro. He lit them up.
Yeah.
But like he's been making them. Like we can say whatever we want about Baker Mayfield, but since week 10, the dude has only thrown 2 picks. Like
Bake. I mean, all right. So while Bake has thrown just 2 picks, Bake has also like averaged about 20 like 20 like true like actual passes downfield per game. You know, really. So like it isn't like Bake is like really like actually going out and trying to like make plays. Like Bake right now is the definition of a game manager. You know, he's
that's all he needed. That's all he need him to be too.
Yeah, exactly. He's doing everything that Alex Smith was doing in Kansas City.
Everywhere.
You know,
Alex
everything.
Smith was doing it everywhere.
Everywhere. And then like so like that isn't to knock him. You know, like he's a decent quarterback. He's just not that guy. And Bake, I don't think that he's that guy. At least not yet.
Stefanski helps him back too, though. Like when you say that, like when he gets Stefanski back, when we see Bake in a groove, he lights shit up. Like prime example versus Tennessee, Stefanski, Bake completed his first 6 passes, and then you just seen that happen from there. So I think when you get Stefanski, who actually really knows Baker Mayfield's strengths, I think that, and this is what I mean, like this is kind of a trap game for Kansas City, but like not really. But like if that Browns team feels as if they could compete and hang around long enough, that can be dangerous for the Chiefs. Because now you got the underdog feeling like they can compete. So that's like I said again, though, I'm not saying they're gonna beat the Chiefs, but I'm saying that could be a dangerous game if they feel as if they can.
Yeah, I see. I just don't like how y'all just kind of like just discredited the Bills as if saying that each team that they could possibly face in the Super Bowl is just better than them. I currently see the Bills, like really as like the 3rd or 4th best team in the whole league. Period.
Do you trust Josh Allen?
Now,
I don't
answer that question real quick. Yeah,
I don't trust Josh Allen, but strictly strictly off his play this year, I'm going to ride on his bandwagon until those wheels fall off.
He almost fumbled the game away last week. I just don't trust Josh Allen.
Okay, so I want to say this. So I would say that Josh Allen is still like bread and butter. Like he's their go-to. He's the one that makes stuff happen. So I'm trying to think of a time where like a player as young as him, obviously besides Pat Mahomes, trying to think of a player as young as him who like was the one who was like the team, who was like puts the team on their back and gets the win. That young, who's going to go in and beat all these vets. That is the only reason I'm saying I don't got the Bills beating none of these teams, because like playing in the Super Bowl is still like, that's like, damn, I'm playing in the Super Bowl. And on top of that, you're probably going to be playing against one of these legends. That's going to put something on your mental.
Thanks. I said Bulls throw up in the huddle during the Super Bowl. Like, it get real.
I think that was your man's, right?
Yeah, I threw a shot at
Y'all really
them butterflies is real when you in a Super Bowl, man. Like it puts more pressure on it. And Josh Allen, when the pressure was on him last week, he almost fumbled the game away. Like I trust Lamar Jackson more. At this point, I think I trust Baker Mayfield more because I know what his play calling is going to be. I trust Pat Mahomes more. Like I trust Sean McVay more, not the Rams quarterback. But like I trust Aaron Rodgers, I trust Drew Brees, I trust Tom Brady. Like you know what you're going to get from those guys. You never know what you're really gonna get from Josh Allen. Like his A pluses are A pluses, but his C's look like F's. because they either going to tilt the game his way or they're not. And
Okay,
that's why
so
I said,
okay,
go ahead.
so now to counter that, how many bad Josh Allen games have you seen this like this season? Like full games. I'm not talking about that one play last week. I'm talking about full body of work.
So when weeks 1 through 4, we was like, oh my God, Josh Allen, he might be an MVP candidate. But from 5 to 10, it looked like what is Josh Allen doing? Like he's
And
showing consistency. And then from weeks 11 to 17, he looked like, okay, he's Josh Allen again. Like the pressure is only going to get higher. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Like we just gonna have to see. I mean, he reminds me a lot of Big Ben, where he's going to throw you an interception. You just got to catch him. But if not, then he's going to hurt you later on in the game for not capitalizing on it. So it's just going to see.
I feel like Josh, yeah, I definitely feel like Josh Allen is really up and down. Like he had a great game. I think it was that early game against the Rams where he was playing really well, or the game was real high scoring or something like that. But then he has performances like he did against the Chiefs, who is a team he'll have to see to get to the Super Bowl. So I feel like in those big time games is when Josh Allen really doesn't show up as much as he should. And that's why I say I feel like they need like another year or two, because I think he still has some growth to do. I definitely think he's going to be a star in the league, no doubt about it. The Bills got their franchise quarterback, but he just needs he just needs a year or two. That's all, because the way the AFC is going it's stacked with young talent. It's crazy. I just saw a stat. I think I just saw a stat. I think it was yesterday that said all 4 quarterbacks that are left in the AFC are all 25 under. So it's like that's just right there. And then you still got.
They about to get Trevor Lawrence. Like
exactly. They got Trevor
talent
Lawrence.
about to hit the AFC is about to. It's
they
crazy.
got Lawrence, and then on top of that, they low key might get Fields too. And then you still got Burrow, you got Herbert, you got
D-Watt.
You got Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, you got Deshaun Watson. So like, feel me?
I mean, he might be going NFC West, but
I hope so.
I'm praying to God he do.
I hope so.
But Karan, you spoke up something that was quite interesting. You said Burrow and Herbert. Like, so quickly transitioning into that topic, right? Who would y'all rather have right now? I think we've seen enough film where we could honestly have this debate. So who would y'all rather have right now?
I'm gonna be honest.
Rank.
I'm gonna be honest. Just off this is look. I like both quarterbacks, but I'm just strictly off of because the first person I liked out of both of them was Justin Herbert. I watched a game of his junior year. They played Stanford.
Yes, sir.
He made a throw. He was running to his left and threw it across his body. I say, yeah, he's gonna be playing on Sundays. He's gonna be playing on Sundays. And then you see what he did his rookie year. He broke records. So that's just a personal preference. I mean, you can't be wrong with either. I mean, I think Joe Burrow gonna come back. I think he'll be fine off the ACL. He played good this year. So I mean, you'll be good with either quarterback. But I take Justin Herbert. Just my guy.
I'd probably go Joe Burrow just because, obviously coming off the injury, people might be a little skeptical, but like when I watch Joe Burrow, I just see like it just looks like greatness every time. And like even though he's had some games where like he's throwing bad or he had a bad game per se because rookie season in the NFL, but like when I see Burrow, I see like he's gonna mature and grow, and he's gonna be a star in the NFL. I think Justin Herbert's gonna be the same way, but I feel like Burrow would close games out there when get to that point in their career when they got win games at the end. Lean more Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert, and that really is what puts Joe Burrow over the hump for me.
I would also go Joey B. Kind of like Rank said, you can't go wrong with either. But Joey B just has a swag to him that can't be coached. And
he went to school in Louisiana. He's swaggy as hell.
Hey, bro. And like kind of like when you're able to notice that from just watching football, I can only just picture how that could have an impact on his teammates, like seeing that, all right, my quarterback thinks that he's like that guy, all right, so now I'm gonna have to step up and be that guy. I think that Joey B has that impact. We saw it this year with the Bengals. I mean, last year they looked pitiful, and this year, even though they weren't good, they were in most games that they played with Joey B with
Could
pretty
it be
much the
Tennessee?
exactly with pretty much the same roster they had last year. The
Yeah.
change just happened at quarterback. So I
They
think
did.
that once more. So I think that once more talent, comes to Cincy, then we'll just see Joey B like just reach like all different types of crazy heights.
Yeah, so I think everybody knows the way I'm going because I've been following this dude since he entered Oregon. I've been telling the world about Justin Herbert, and he just proved me right again. I think he has a better arm. I think he has a higher IQ. Um, I just think Joe has the swag, right? But I think Herbert plays with a silent swag where he like, you know what I mean, with how he moves on the field. Um, it's not a throw he can't make. Like he done diced up everyone this year,
Hmm.
and it was proven. And I just like Justin Herbert, man. I just think, and he's in a better situation, front office wise, team wise, roster wise. So I just think that like, and I feel bad for Joe Burrow because like the number one pick never goes anywhere good.
Hmm.
So, but with Justin Herbert, he's in a better situation. He's going to have, I think, a better coach coming up, which I think will be Doug Peterson. I think
Mm.
he'll and he just has a roster around him that's just pretty loaded to where like if he actually gets the right coach and the right staff around him, I think you will see the Chargers be who they were 2 years ago, which was 12-4, and be able to compete for an AFC West title. So he's just in a way better situation, and I think that's just going to show him better overall. And Joe Burrow is going to probably be in the hardest division in like football for a very
Yeah.
long
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
So right about now, I would just have to take I'm gonna take Justin Herbert.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. So now to pivot, to basketball. The big news, obviously, Harden finally getting traded. But really, it was just a matter of where. And now we found out it was to Brooklyn. That cost them. Karras and Jared Allen. Two very key pieces. To that rotation. So rank. We'll start off with you. And really just your thoughts on like that. Really, the whole Harden situation, the trade. And just yeah.
Um, look, I don't look. The Nets are idiots. Simple as that. I mean, like Dame tweeted out, he said he think Karras is going to flourish now that he's in Indiana like that. I think they were just dumb letting Karras go. Because even though you're so top heavy now with Kyrie, James Harden, and KD, I mean, you still have no bench. I mean, who's coming off the bench now? Six. Lakers are six. I know. Lakers are six. Um, and then like you said, Jared Allen. I mean, look, LeBron. I got the AD jersey over there. Speaking of this, you got rid of Jared Allen. I mean, now you have one person to guard Anthony Davis, and if you leaving that up to DeAndre Jordan, I mean, good luck. Good luck. And even like y'all said, they might not even make it past the Sixers. Leaving it, he got to guard Joel Embiid. I mean, let's be real. That's not going to be no easy task
Look,
for DeAndre Jordan. I think
it's
so.
not even about us having AD. Like Marcus Gasol will give DJ some issues.
Mark
But go ahead.
Gasol,
But go ahead.
Montrez, like it's just look. I think they should have stayed exactly where they was with the team that
I
they had.
agree.
Because
I
even right,
agree.
you don't even know what Kyrie going, whatever he got going on. Like, so you don't even know if you even gonna have this big three in the playoffs. Who knows if he gonna finish the season? So now you just ruined your team. So I think they should have just stayed where they was.
I mean, I don't mean to cut you off, Frank, but let's be real. I think KD and Harden is enough to get to the finals. Let's
Yeah,
just
but with the well, who else are they? I mean, DeAndre Jordan. You got rid of everybody else. Who? So now you
let's
just
So
relying on
KJ,
relying on two people to score 60, 30 a night. I'm guessing
yo,
35 a
but I
night.
like I like what KJ said though, and hear me out, right? I think I would have traded Kyrie for James Harden. I think that
I
would
would
have
have did
allowed
that.
you to keep
Yeah,
Harris
If
first.
anything, that's what I would have did. If anything.
that.
yeah.
I mean,
I
see now,
think
now, Z, would you say would have definitely allowed them to keep more of their depth? But I mean,
absolutely.
but see, you got to think about it in the standpoint of the Nets. Like, if they're telling you could get Harden while keeping Kyrie, you're gonna have three bona fide superstars. Like, you're just
Well,
thinking
I
like,
think
I have three.
Kyrie was playing chess while everybody else was playing checkers. Like I really do believe he sabotaged his trade value, and I'm not
Exactly.
saying it like to be funny, but I
That's
think he kind
exactly
of
what it
knew
is.
something was going on. You know what I mean? Like players aren't dumb, so I felt as if he kind of put himself in a situation where it was like no one wants to take on Kyrie's headache. Like
Yep.
no one in the league wants to deal with that. You know what I mean? And I truly believe the Nets really wanted Kevin Durant, but Kevin Durant was like, "You got to bring my boy with you," and I think that's how that went. You know what I mean? And I think that's just how that went. So
KJ, I have a question. So you said that the Nets have three like superstars. That is true, but at least one of them is going to have to change their game. So like they won't have, KD, Harden and Kyrie. They'll have KD and Harden and then they'll have a different form of Kyrie.
I agree.
So now my question is, do you think that one of them will be able to conform their game to be a third fiddle? Because these are all high usage superstars.
Okay, so all three of these players have played in a system before. And it was in a system where they weren't necessarily the ball dominant player. Like Kevin Durant went from OKC, where he became the ball dominant player, to Golden State, where he learned how to run through sets and learned how to essentially play basketball the right way. Now Harden, while he was in OKC, was that kind of player too. They used to run him off of screens, and he would actually play basketball too. The way Harden played in Houston was by coach's design. That wasn't Harden's choice. And Harden's not going to say no because he's getting to touch the ball 90% of the time. And he's getting to take all the shots. So what players are going to say no to that? So strictly off that, and on top of that, KD and Harden have played together before. So strictly off that, I can say that them two I know will work together perfectly fine. The only one I would say is the oddball out is Kyrie Irving. But we've seen in these first few games, whenever Kyrie and KD did play together, their offense was fluent. They were beating teams by 40. So it's like, me personally, I think on the offensive end, they'll be perfectly fine. I think people are overreacting, saying it's only one ball and all this. I think it's an overreaction. I think they will struggle on the defensive end, but you got three people who could go out and get 30 any night. I mean, I don't have anything wrong to say about it. Like,
all right, so now just like two like quick follow-up questions. One, you mentioned how they've all played, in systems with other stars, right? So we know that KD left to prove that he could be that guy, on a championship caliber team. Kyrie left Cleveland to
He could be that guy.
to show that he could be that guy. And then when you factor that in with a system, that Steve Nash played in the 7 seconds or less system with Mike, who is on that coaching staff. So how much offense do you really think is going to be run there?
well, okay, so Kyrie wanted to get out of Cleveland and be a man of his own team. He went to Boston. He's seen that it wasn't as easy as thought. So I think that's out of Kyrie's head. Like, because Kyrie already apologized to Bron and everything. Like, I think that's completely out of his head. Obviously, Kyrie wants to be a ball dominant player, but he knows he can't do it as the top guy anymore. And I think he knows that, obviously. That's why he went and teamed up with KD. As for KD, I think he went with Kyrie just because he knew he needed at least one other person. Like, he couldn't do it by himself. So I think that's how KD and Kyrie came together. As for Harden, I feel like this just came out of nowhere. I don't think coming into this, like, obviously we knew like a couple weeks before, but like really in the summer, the offseason, nobody knew Harden was going to leave Houston. Like, we were under the assumption that he was going to be playing with John Wall and Boogie. So this kind of just came out of nowhere. And I think KD is mature now to the point in his career where he can adapt. He probably knows that he's not going to be able to be the bull that goes out there and gets 32 a night. But I mean, if he's going to be winning a championship, what can he really say? I'm not saying they're going to go win a championship this year, but I'm just saying, like, they're going to easily be in that position. So he can't really say much. It's not like he's like, well, trade these people because I want to be the number one guy. He's not Russell Westbrook.
I mean, yeah, obviously.
So,
I think y'all tripping. Kyrie got to go. And I'm not just saying this like be funny.
Yo, Zeke crazy now.
I think they might trade.
Kyrie gotta go. I think Kyrie's about to get I think he's going to be traded by All-Star break.
He definitely could.
I mean, because number one, Kyrie thinks he's the leader of that team, right? Like, that's just shown through his personality, how he's talking to the media, how he's acting on the court. If you watch the Nets play, how he's speaking to everybody. Like, Kyrie thinks he's the leader on that team. Kyrie thinks he's on par with Kevin Durant, LeBron James, and other MVP candidates, but he's not. Like, and I think it's going to get to a point where it's like, James Harden and Kyrie, they need the ball to get into their rhythm. Like we can talk about, oh, James Harden is a six man and everything like that. He hasn't been that in 8 years. Like, so we can't even look at that and say he's the same player that he is because he's not. He's MVP James Harden. He's averaging 33 points a game for the last 4 seasons. He's averaging 10 assists a game for the last 3 seasons. You know what I mean? He's won an assist title. He's won a scoring champ title. James Harden in OKC is not James Harden in OKC. Kevin Durant in OKC is not Kevin Durant in OKC. He's a two-time Finals MVP. He's not.
He can be. He can be.
KD, look.
We go ahead, Karan.
It's no way in hell you can sit here
just
and tell me that KD has to cater back to everyone else. I'm Kevin freaking Durant. I'm the number 2 player in the world.
Bro,
like the offense runs through me.
Times too. KD not taking a backseat to nobody. He done already.
nobody.
He told Kyrie that on live. He said, as long as I'm taking the most shots, he done already told everybody that. That's KD team. Like
I think it's really.
Exact.
I think it's really going to be big on Steve Nash. I think a lot of the pressure is really on Steve Nash because
that's what all the pressure is.
Just for the simple fact of you could obviously throw one of them the ball and say go ISO, but that's going to create a problem in a sense. I feel like if Steve Nash can create sets where they're all at least touching the ball on a possession, because if one of them touches the ball, they're liable to play make or go score. So if you're at least getting all them the ball, at least in the possession, having them move, swing the ball to each other, that's going to keep defenses off balance. Because if you got 3 top scorers in the world playing together, passing the ball, like who's really going to be able to guard that? So I think it's big. It's big on Steve Nash to get them to buy in. And if they do buy in, I feel like they'll be a lot more successful than people really think.
And why I think Kyrie Irving getting traded in all seriousness, because they have no depth, right? And no one wants to. And everybody said the Nets front office is already tired of his little moody ass attitude. You know what I mean? So it's really a matter of time before they just had enough. And the package that you could get in a 3-team trade for Kyrie Irving, you send him somewhere where he's still gonna be competitive. But the role player that you would get and a draft pick that you would get for Kyrie Irving, it just makes sense to me. Like James Harden and Kevin Durant, I think they can honestly get to the finals and be competitive with that Nets team that they have.
What is a good team to see Kyrie going to?
I ain't get that far, but I know he got to go. I haven't looked at
right now. I don't even think
City or anything like that.
I really don't.
And that's another thing. Like, who gonna take Kyrie? Like now, Steve Nash, and like we said, pressure on Steve Nash. No one's gonna want to deal with Kyrie, right? So the Nets tied in with him, unless they can find somehow to trade him. So being that they tied in with him, now you got to make it work.
Clippers would probably take him. They probably would.
Take anybody.
Yeah, you're right. They would. They would.
So
that's not bad for him.
And it would be nice for him. But who would the Clippers to give up?
The Heat.
The Heat would have to give up.
See, look, but that's the thing, bro. Pat Riley not dealing with that.
Yeah, he's not.
Pat Riley not putting up with that.
Man, that's exactly it.
But
Pat Riley might be exactly what Kyrie needs.
Yeah,
that might be.
He might be.
They
might be.
They called Jimmy Butler cancer. He's down there thriving right now. You know,
that's
so
true.
maybe. But
Ron did strive in Miami too. So Miami might be a rehab center for NBA players and all too.
It's just a good.
Yeah,
it's a really good organization.
Bro, the Heat might be the Steelers of basketball, if that makes sense.
Just the sense that they always have at least a solid team and
always culture.
Yeah.
Same culture.
Right.
Okay.
But it still don't change that Kyrie got to go. he got to go. I love Kyrie's game to the most. Like, it's not a soul on this planet that can guard that man at all. Like, he is who he is. But at some point in time, no one wants to keep dealing with the same shit.
Okay. So like a couple minutes ago, we were just talking about how we thought Kyrie was doing that purposefully to lower his value. What if like the Nets was in on it too? Like, what if they're just adding on to it, like saying like he's a headache, blah 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 blah, adding on to lowering his value? Because if Kyrie was doing something on purpose to lower his value so that he wouldn't be a part of the trade, why wouldn't the Nets be in on that?
I think Kyrie's a beyond thinker, and I don't think no one thinks like Kyrie. So I don't even believe the Nets front office thought about this.
That's
Like
true.
if that is something that happened, that's strictly him. Like that's all him. And then he just tied their hands behind their back.
Kyrie
So
got a lot going on mentally.
Definitely do.
man, I don't even think it's mentally. I think it's ego. I
Mm.
think it's all ego with Kyrie, and I think that's shown from a very long time. But we all know who the best team in the league still is to this day. I'm not worried about them at all.
Lakers in 6.
No.
Lakers in 6.
I mean, really, I mean, prior to this season, I had the Nets, get into the finals, but I always said the Sixers had the best like five, like so if their starting five came to play, I don't I don't think that there's a team other than the Lakers that could possibly beat them. But now that the Nets kind of like killed their depth and got Harden, the Sixers are now my favorites in the East. I'm not sure if I'm the only one that stands on that ground, but if that's
Probably
the
are.
case, then so be it.
Yeah.
Hey man,
Yeah,
Nah, you're not the only one.
hey man.
You're not the
For
only one
me,
at all.
I
Because
told y'all
Joel
what it
Embiid
is
gonna
for
eat
me.
that series.
Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, I really don't think they can coexist. It's getting to that point.
They're showing it.
They
Have you seen them play this
I was about
season?
to say they've been showing
Like,
it.
yeah, they've
the other night
been
Ben
hooping this
Simmons
season.
Ben Simmons just scored 5 points.
Against the Heat,
We're
man.
talking about
Nobody.
you're
They had nobody.
we're we're talking about one we're talking about one game.
It isn't just
We're
what he no,
Embiid,
look.
yo, I think
we're
Embiid,
talking
No,
about one
I
game.
think Embiid might have
not,
had like 40 in overtime. Like it was
no.
over, he had like 40, and Ben Simmons had 5.
Tobias had like 20 so.
That's what I'm saying. And like KJ
No.
said, the Heat had nobody and they lost.
Hey, bro.
I don't know
Hey,
if it's
bro.
just they just really just can't win on the road. I don't know what it is, but like, yo,
The
Let me tell you
Sixers,
about
for me, are going to be one of those teams that's going to have to show me before I ever like say that I think they'll make it to the finals because I've seen them fail or fold too many times. And honestly, the only time they didn't really fold was the little triple bounce that Kawhi hit. But I mean, still, like
The Sixers
in the
might
bubble
have
they
won
didn't
a
have
chip that
anybody
year.
though.
they
they
might have.
definitely would have won the chip that
No,
year.
They
no,
would
they
have
wouldn't. No, they wouldn't.
with
Yeah,
with
they
the way
They
things
would've.
went with the way
What?
things went. They would have.
You think the Sixers was in the finals that year?
You don't know how the
Who
timeline
were they
would have
losing
went.
to?
Oh
Maybe
my
Kevin Durant.
god.
Maybe Kevin Durant
They
don't. You know,
no
all
bro,
bad.
no
Still have
bro,
Jimmy
no
still gets
bro,
hurt.
no
Clay still gets
bro,
hurt.
Clay
We
gets
no
don't know
hurt.
if that happens.
no
We don't.
Why?
no bro.
Why?
What how?
Yeah.
How?
Bro, I don't even
Only
like the
listen.
Sixers. I don't even
Only
care.
way I could say the Sixers, only way I could say the Sixers don't win that championship is because of who their coach was. It's the only reason. Brett
Brett
Brown
Brown.
was terrible. I
He was
mean
Okay.
out coach. Steve Kerr would have put him in circles, bro.
that
Word of
because
song.
I don't think Brett Brown would have been smart enough to put Steph in the box and won like that. I just
Probably
don't.
not. But I mean,
But Clay wasn't hurt until
had
game 6.
defenders though,
So let
like
that
Yeah.
defend
defenders
him.
all around. Like
Clay wasn't
Yeah.
hurt until game 6. So he couldn't even box and one Steph because they would have lit it up regardless.
the,
But
me personally, I think the Sixers were probably better defensively than the Raptors were. So
the Sixers have always been good defensively, though. Like that length, that size, and with Ben Simmons, like they're always going to be good defensively. I think it really just comes down to Ben. Can you consistently give me 15, 9, and 8 every
See,
night?
that season they should have traded Ben Simmons.
That's
That season kept JJ Redick
no,
and
you
Jimmy.
can't. You
Should have kept
can't
Jimmy
because
and
of the
JJ.
chemistry.
I like that team.
You can't because of the chemistry with Ben and JoJo. Like for what they showing this year, it's clear that they done worked on something in the off season and they getting it and they get it. And if Tobias is the second option because he clearly is, if Tobias is the second option and they're thriving in it, then you got to keep it that way. But Ben Simmons he's gonna be a true point guard. He's gonna be a Rajon Rondo until he decides that he wants to shoot,
I
and
just
he's
feel
just gonna
like
make everything go.
it's hard to say the Sixers will be successful, like final successful when their two best players are paint dominant. And it's bad. It's even worse when you can say your big man shoots better than your guard. Like that's things that need to be corrected. Ben
That's
Simmons,
the
I'm
NBA
sorry.
now, though.
Like people are saying like his jump shot isn't that big of a deal because everything else he brings to the game, it's a big deal because it allows teams to defend you easier. And if you just shoot the ball, that would force these people to stretch the floor more. And That's more space for Embiid, and you probably get more open threes if you would just shoot them. Ben Simmons will get so many open threes if he just shot the ball. It's ridiculous.
Like,
It's ridiculous.
Like literally, like that's it. Shoot it. Like,
Just
don't care
shoot
if it goes
Just
in. Just
shoot it.
put it up. Just put it up.
Man, you heard what Rondo said. You got Bulls taking 23s a
Yeah,
game.
that's
Five.
Just shoot it.
Like, just shoot it, bro. Just shoot it, bro. Like, you never know. One night you might go 4 or 5. You might go 1 or 5.
You
But
never
they
know.
gotta respect the fact that you shooting it, man. And I'm not just saying this because he's the GOAT, but like we look at LeBron and how he's always catered his game to the eras that he's played in. Like you got to give him credit for that. Like you got to adapt with the NBA times. Like you have to. So if it's now where it's shooting threes and driving to the lane, then you got to shoot threes and drive to the lane. Like it's only going to help you and your team. So and I like Ben Simmons. You have to do it. Like you are not a bum. All right, and I'm getting tired of defending you. So just shoot, bro. Just shoot. Please, just shoot.
Bless you.
Like that's it. Just shoot.
If I'm that front office, I'm telling them y'all got one more year. Y'all got one more season to get this
But this
right.
the best that they played though.
Y'all
Like,
got
eye
at least
test alone,
y'all got to at least get out the first round. I mean, come on.
they was hurting. all
They-
that.
Granted, last year they didn't have Ben Simmons, but
They did.
Yeah, like, Joel Embiid was in the bubble fat. Like they wasn't beating nobody.
If the
Like
Sixers,
it is what it is.
I think if the Sixers run into Boston again this year and they lose again, then yeah, that duo
they gotta go. They gotta break them up.
Okay.
has to.
Yeah, go get Kyrie Irving. I'm cool with that.
If the Sixers trade Ben Simmons or Joel Embiid for him,
JoJo.
it'll.
Keep JoJo.
Ain't no
It'll-
trading JoJo.
yeah.
Ain't no
Keep
trading
JoJo.
JoJo.
Oh, okay.
Everybody,
All right, cool.
everybody in Philly hate Ben Simmons already.
Bro,
You
they
listen to the Philly radio, they hate
on the
Ben
radio.
Simmons.
Yeah, and they also hate Carson Wentz, but now they miss Carson Wentz because they didn't see Jalen Hurts play. Be careful what you ask for.
Yeah, well, I'm not a
Seriously.
Sixers fan. I'm a Lakers fan, so
We don't have those issues. We don't have those.
everything good over there in the Sunshine
Yeah, we
City.
good. And Kuz balling again, so we
Yeah,
straight.
until he
Worry about
started.
nothing. Yeah,
All right,
until he
so-
started.
All right, so now just to wrap up, we're 3 weeks, into this season. KJ will start with you here. Just a couple of takeaways. You've got from like these past or from the start of the season.
Well, I could confidently say, like, I bet my house on it that the Lakers are going to win the championship. Like, it's just, like, they're just out there having so much fun. It's crazy to see. Like, I mean, it shows how their chemistry is. Their chemistry is off the charts. And then you have the top 2 players like LeBron and AD. So, you have the superstars that you need to get the job done. And then you have the chemistry where your role players are going to be confident enough to hit shots when they need to be able to hit them. They definitely got to clean up their defense a little bit, but I don't see anybody else beating them in a 7-game series. They're just too tough. I definitely do want to touch on the Suns. I tried to tell everybody about the Suns. It's definitely early in the season, but the Suns are up there. They look good. Chris Paul has got his effect. So I definitely like the Suns. And as for the East, yeah, I think it comes. I personally think it comes down between the Nets and Sixers. But like I said just a couple minutes ago, if the Sixers can't get past Boston again, then they need to switch up that roster. And
Yeah, we got to stop sleeping on Boston. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, they playing great.
Yeah.
they are
We still got to give them their credit.
scary.
Them boys are different, man.
And it's crazy because you see someone like Terry Rozier balling out. I keep saying it. I wish that they would
They
have
would have
kept
kept Scary Terry.
They would have kept Terry with JB and JT. They would have.
Yeah,
But-
but that's what happens when you let Kyrie dictate shit. You
Stupid.
saying?
It was crazy enough.
Oh, and Melo Ball is winning Rookie of the Year, no doubt about it. He is a problem.
Yeah.
That's true.
He is a
Ooh.
problem.
Ooh.
Who
See,
Halliburton.
all right, so,
Devontae
all right, yeah.
Graham need to go have the seat.
yeah. So
I can't
that
give it
was-
that just yet, bro.
that was one of my takeaways. Like I was huge on him. In the
Wait, who's your rookie?
pre-draft process. Tyrese Halliburton. All right. Now is
His
Melo.
shot ugly as
but
hell. But
listen. Right. So I mean, so now at this point is Melo. But I
Right.
definitely think that Reese could definitely give him a serious run. For that title. I don't know why I watch the Kings so much, but like I do, and they play good, ball over there, and Tyrese Halliburton hooping, D Fox is hooping, I don't,
Like, fuck.
yeah, I don't think that they'll necessarily be a playoff team this year, but I do think that they'll be, in like that fight for the 10 seed, to get into that play-in game. But their foundation is bright, only if they're able to keep Bagley, which I hope that they do.
Yeah, talk too much.
Yeah, that
He
was a crazy
definitely do.
situation.
He never
Um,
looked hard. But Lamar
yeah,
now he taking the spot now. He talked to
yeah,
me.
yeah.
Talk
That was just a
much.
weird situation. And the Pacers, they are hooping, and now they're getting Karras, to put with Brogdon and Sabonis. Um, I don't think that they're in that tier, with the Celtics, the Nets, the Bucks, the Sixers just yet. Uh, but they're inching there. And yeah, they'll definitely be a tough outcome playoff time, But those are my two
Absolutely.
takeaways so far.
Uh,
With me, I got the Lakers are still the best team. I think that chemistry is like it's so contagious when you could just bring in names and they just look like they all get along. I think Wesley Matthews is finally starting to come along. Dennis Schroeder, I'm really like I always liked Dennis Schroeder, but like he showed me that like he truly
Told
could
you.
hoop
I
in a
told you.
real right
football.
situation.
I
He got something to
I
his
Like
I told you.
his
something.
like he
one-on-one
gets to
game is
he
different.
get to the bucket at will. It don't even matter who guard him. He get to the bucket, bro. I also think that the Bucks are sleepy good. Like I mean, they're nothing too flashy, but I think that they're sleepy good. I think there'll be a problem in the East. The Chippers don't look too bad. I just think I don't know. It's Paul George, of course. The Suns. Shout out to KJ. I really like the Suns. They look like they're gonna have some issues come time in the playoff. So I think that's a team that a lot of people want to play. And lastly, Luca. Luca's still my MVP. Luca is playing excellent right now.
Balled out last
Uh,
night too.
he
Yeah.
Sure
did.
did. Sure
So
did.
Luca is definitely my MVP right now, and he's still on a hobbled ankle. So you know what I mean. He hooping. Um, he just should be dunking more. He lay up everything. But yeah, that's my takeaways right now.
For me, I want to touch up on some of the bad teams in the league. KJ, your Knicks. I like what Tibbs is doing.
Nice. We looking nice.
I like what Tibbs is doing with the Knicks.
Y'all should have traded for James Harden.
We should have did something, bro.
Should've.
We need somebody.
Yeah.
Should've.
I want us to
Yeah.
get Ben Simmons,
Should've.
personally.
Who?
I want us to trade for Ben Simmons.
I like y'all getting Ben Simmons because then y'all could start up a team like he got in Milwaukee. Y'all can just get him some
What are y'all
shooters.
Y'all gonna
saying
give up
right
who?
now?
Sorry ass RJ Barrett.
What are y'all saying right now?
We have so much young talent that we could send in return. Look,
Yo,
Kevin
Ben
Knox
Simmons
is a
needs
bust,
his
though.
own team. That man needs his own team. Like Giannis got in Milwaukee. Just put some shooters around him.
Giannis is an MVP.
Ben Simmons can be that with his own team, just
Ben-
like Giannis got.
Ben
Simmons
Ben
can't
and
do that.
Giannis have a very similar game. Giannis is more dominant with it, but Ben is more talented.
Ben
Giannis
is
shoots
more
threes.
talented than Ness. Like he can do more. Feel me? But Giannis actually puts up threes, and that's what I'm saying. If
Yeah.
Ben at least shoots them,
But
it'll be a
Giannis
whole different
shoots
story.
threes.
But even at the end of the day, I think even if Ben does shoot threes, I still think he's going to need a team of his own because you have to post someone like Joel Embiid, which means he's in the paint, and Ben's game is primarily in the paint. So I just
Slashing, all that stuff.
so.
You got to play a 5 out with Ben Simmons on your team.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Hornets. They got something
I
going
like
on.
the
yo.
Hornets too.
Hornets
I
have
said in the preseason that they could sneak into the playoffs depending on how the bottom of the East look. I like the
Wizards
Hornets.
are awful.
They're terrible.
Yeah.
They're terrible.
I
Brad
said,
Bill, you might as well come live out LA,
Might as
Brad
well,
Bill.
hey, like Snoop
Bro,
said, you know he just bought a house
y'all
out in
crazy.
LA.
Like
He just
Brad
bought a
Bill, you
house
might as
out in
well
LA,
come
bro.
live
Brad
out
Bill
LA.
the Lakers, bro. Enough.
I understand y'all don't want it to happen, but
Listen,
it's King James. So
it's
if he
not-
decide that he wants
It's
Brad
not
Bill,
going to happen.
Look, it's a couple dudes that we
Oh,
grabbed for a
bro, I
reason.
just watched James Harden go to the Nets. Tell me we can't get Brad Bill.
4 first-round picks were traded.
What?
The Lakers have 0 assets to trade.
Yeah,
It's not happening.
Technically, we got first round picks. They just every other year. So if somebody want to take our first round pick every other year, take them.
They could take 2. Look, they could take like 2 of those. Take Kuz again. I'm willing to give it a Kuz whenever.
End it right there. End it right there. The second any Laker fan says throw Kuz in any deal, you have to end that convo right there, bro.
Why?
That's everything.
Listen, he's a nuclear bomb waiting to explode.
Yo, look, you gotta look at Kuz before AD came to really. I mean, like, but Kuz before AD, he had a couple 30 balls, a couple 40s. I mean, it's just now.
When Lonzo Ball is point guard, I mean, you expect him to be the number 1 option.
I mean, look, he don't know his role now. He don't know his role. He just out there running and gunning.
Bro, he averaging 15 for us. That's good. That's real good.
Look, Kuz until he start getting on the Kuz, the Kuz that we really know. That I mean, we gonna win it regardless.
Yeah, we gonna win regardless.
Whether Brad come or not.
But look, and this time around, I'm going out LA to the parade. Like,
oh yeah,
because COVID hopefully should be going, so we gonna be celebrating.
It's a couple careers we need to save. Zach LaVine,
please. Yeah, he's definitely hooping. Him and CJ are putting together like real, like quiet, like really good season. Bro, we know who he is. People speak on him.
People don't last year, so it's like
Russell
he just don't. The NBA just don't give him his flowers because he on the Wizards.
Play with them.
Yeah, that's it.
Play with those two. Like, your superstar just gonna lose. Like Russell Westbrook and James Harden, bro, they just toxic. There's nothing else to it. Wherever they go, they just fuck up things. Honestly,
the Wizards are gonna be terrible. And then what made it worse? Thomas Bryant they just lost him for the season.
Yeah,
that just made them even worse. So yeah, they're who knows how many games they win this year? They might get the number 1 pick. Well, the way the lottery is, who knows?
Well, that wraps up all the content from this episode. Please,
Lake Show, baby.
Lake Show.
Please, be sure to give feedback. Talk to us. And just keep tuning in. Till next time. Y'all be easy.
Glad to be here.
Love y'all, man. Y'all stay safe, stay COVID free, man. All that good stuff. All right. Y'all be good.
Watch y'all sports.